Hey guys, so we're here in Southfield, Michigan. We're like very close to where I once lived. I think for the first 4 years of my life, I lived at this house in Southfield. It's somewhere behind us. But we're standing in the parking lot of this church where is like literally down the street from my childhood home, one of my childhood homes. And this is one of those churches that look very, very, very peculiar. And it's kind of been around for a long, long time before I've even been born. Um, but today we're going to talk about the word whisper and basically talk about how God is a whisper in your ear. So every day, the Holy Spirit speaks to us. Every day, He invites us, He knocks. He gives us signs. He gives us opportunity, and not signs that correlate with what we want, not signs that correlate with what we desire. You know how sometimes we get caught up in, God, show me a sign. Show me a sign. I want you to show me a sign that I should go do this thing that I want to do. And then we begin looking for evidence that we should do that thing. And we actually find evidence that we should do that thing. But it might not be from God. It might not be a sign from God. You see what you believe. You believe what you have already seen in your mind. So if you believe that you're going to see that and you begin looking for that, that's what you're going to begin to see in your life. So I believe that that whisper is kind of receiving what the Lord wants from you, for you. And in a sense, you have to quiet your own self, your own flesh, your own maybe selfish desires, things that you think that you desire that other people put within you to say, oh, you should do this, you should do that, but it wasn't from God. So you thought that that was something that was a part of you, something that God wanted you to be when He made you, not knowing that God had other things in mind. So by you quieting all of that, that's the only way that you're actually able to hear God, able to hear the Holy Spirit speak to you. That silence where you are alone, where you don't have mother, brother, sister, cousin, auntie, boyfriend, girlfriend, wife, best friend, bro, talking in your ear. You don't have work talking in your ear, telling you that you should be this, or you should be that, or you should do this and do that, or even that you should have this thing, and then you would be enough. Who am I talking to? So you have to quiet all of that. That's why God specifically says when you pray to go alone, close the door behind you. That's why those secret places are important. Those secret times like this, where you're alone with God, where He can truly speak to you, and He can truly bless you with something that is deeper than yourself. You open up your heart and mind to His Spirit and see what He has to say, quieting everything else, shutting everything else down, even putting down social media, putting down Netflix, putting down our hobbies, picking up our Bible, but really letting the Bible land, sitting and reading the Word and realizing that it's really reading us, realizing that we're in these stories and there's truths in them that are more true for us right now than them. That time is coming now where Jesus is returning and He's looking for someone that He knows, someone that has a relationship with Him, someone that did not just use His name and say, Lord, Lord. Someone did not that did not just use his name for accolades, use his name to look a certain way, to signal virtue to others, but he used his name to call on him to say hello. What is a true relationship? Have you ever talked with a friend and you just wanted something from them? Hey, I, I need you to do this. I need you to do this for me. If they're a real friend and they want you to continue to be friends with them, they'll they'll address you concerning that, and they'll say, "Hey, I didn't like that you went straight for what you needed, rather than say, "Hey, how are you? I've got something going on. Can you possibly help me with this?" Have a conversation, because they're a human being. They're not the thing that can fulfill your need only. They may be, but they're more than that. My mom had a huge thing growing up, as I was growing up, where she preferred it that when we text her or talk to her on the phone, even though we had needs, she recognized that we had needs. She always wanted us to say hi first before we stated our needs. And that's because she wanted to include the relationship aspect. That this is a relationship. This is not a transaction where I, the kid, get what I want from my mother, and the only thing she gets is to know that she feels like a good mother. She should get more than that. She should feel that I genuinely love her. I genuinely care for her. And I deeply appreciate the things that she does for me that I'm not currently able to do in my young infant state as a teenager that's trying to learn about life, that hasn't even got a job that's able to provide for a home, provide for a vehicle, pay the lights, car gas, insurance, medical insurance, not even understanding all of the layers of things that the government forced us to pay. But she requests that relationship part of the transaction. And I think that the transaction, the robotic part of it, give and I take from you, is what many of us are caught in our relationship with God. We're locked in the give and take, the I need and you provide. How can you get out of that? How can you change it to where it really is a relationship? Maybe you don't start with what you need. Maybe you start with the thank yous. Before you bring up what you need, maybe talking to your mom, you say, I really appreciate you taking the time to go to work for us 40 hours a week. Thank you so much. I see that, and I know that it's not easy. It's one thing to go to school my 40 hours a week and just sit and listen and take in information, but it's another thing to be everything to everyone at a workplace for 40 hours a week and come home and then be everything to us. I really, really appreciate you. And what that does is, one, it builds a relationship. She feels seen. How does that bless a parent for you to make them feel seen when they're the parent? They're the adults and you make them feel seen. But you seeing them and understanding them ignites a love within you, an understanding within you. And that understanding causes you to defend. Many times when I was a child, my sister was misunderstood, even by my parents. So many times, me understanding her in a deep way, I would speak on her behalf. And many times I was that mediator. And not to brag or to boast, but God put me in the position to sometimes prevent her from being chastised, whooped for things that she didn't actually do. And also helped my parents to see her heart behind her actions. to see that she's an individual that has a creative mind, but she's very different than us. And though me and my other sister were similar, and sometimes we fell into the mold, my little sister didn't always fall into the mold. But the point is seeing and understanding the person to the point where you're able to love them deeply, even when necessary, defend them. And this is why God is the one who fights those battles that we aren't able to fight. Those situations where you feel done wrong by a coworker and you want to speak out against them. Maybe you want to match their energy, because that's one of the things that we say nowadays. That's a normal thing to be said. Match their energy. Fire with fire. I heard a pastor say the other day that the fire that we fight with is different. It's not the same. We don't come back cussing. Even physically fighting, we don't. We're peacemakers. And us being peacemakers can be a fire that's so separating from anything else in the world that it has utter power to cut through. It cuts through the heart of people, because at the end of the day, people want to be loved, people want to be accepted, and people want truth. So when you think about that, cutting through the noise, because what is those arguments? What is a disagreement? It's just noise. It's just background noise. But those things that will remain, it says it in Revelation, 3 things that will remain: faith, hope, and love. Not sure if it was in that order. But the point is, cutting through, it's something so powerful that it stands the test of time, stands the test of this little conversation, this little disagreement. Realizing that this will all pass away. And when it does, did you hear the whisper? Did you have relationship with Jesus Christ? Did you have relationship with your Father? Did you understand the Holy Spirit? And knowing when He's speaking and when you're speaking. And knowing when to silence yourself and to listen to His Spirit and be guided by His Spirit. Because He does know where you should go. He does know what's best for you. And He loves you deeply. I hope this blessed you guys. Listen to the whisper and have a great day. Thank you.